everybody. Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV, actually here in a show display that will be long since over by the time you check this footage out. My first full look here at the new 260 BHLE Della Terra by East to West. This is going to look very familiar to their previous 250 model, but this is their new LE series, which basically means limited edition, and that phrase can mean different things in different market segments, and that's why I like to put these videos together to really dive in a little bit further and let you understand what this is. This is going to be unapologetically the budget beater series. It doesn't do all the things the full Della Terra series does, and certainly this is not a groundbreaking original floor plan, and that's kind of the reason I like to look at campers like this, because I think if you've never had an RV before, this makes for a really good, interesting comparison point right here. And there's certain areas on this camper, I'm going to applaud them. There are some things that they did better and they did different, and some things I really like. There's also some things that I think are going to be uncomfortable or unusual that we haven't really seen before, but they are things where I've seen people leave feedback, like what they did with the kitchen. What they did with the kitchen, I personally really like, but I know just as many people are going to see that as an all-stop deal breaker. And I want to approach it from that fair perspective, and I'd really like your input as we go on this one. I love the fact this is the first like budget beater class kind of camper. I call it smarter class camping, where it's everything you need and nothing you don't. That has a big 72 by 80 fifth wheel king bed. You don't see things like that on little campers, and there's a couple other cool little features like that as we go. Like I said, I'm really interested to know what you think about this one. I'm going to try to show you the highs with the lows, and you let me know what you like and dislike along the way. And we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you an awesome update on this product. If you're paying attention, you might notice this RV has non-ducted air conditioning, and I had already recorded this video, and then the guy who designs and manages East to West is here at this event, and he goes, hey, what do you think of this? And I was kind of showing him what I thought was good and bad and ugly and in between, and I mentioned the one thing that I think is really going to be a major hang-up here is that's a non-ducted air conditioner. He goes, already fixed it. I was like, what? Any of the tandem axle East to West Della Terra LE series, like this one that we're looking at here, they are going to all be centrally ducted air. Basically, his very first run came out with non-ducted air. He looked at it and went, I don't like that. That's wrong. That doesn't make sense. And that's cutting the corner of cost too darn hard. So good news. Ignoring that, like there might be a couple of these out there. For the most part, every one of these you see is going to have centrally ducted air. And I especially think later in the video when you close the bunk area curtain to help keep some air in that upper bunk, that will help tremendously. So awesome update that will supersede anything you see or hear later in the video. So we're in a floor plan, or rather when we are in a floor plan like this, that everybody and their brother has built for years on end. It's the little things that are going to make the difference, because the cool part about a floor plan like this is because so many RV manufacturers build it, it means that you get to be a little more picky and selective. Sometimes when you get up into like the big fifth wheel market, there's just fewer builders making certain layouts. That's not the case here. So you get to be really discretionary and exclusive in how you choose to spend your dollars. First of all, though, you've already kind of seen our floor plan in a flash. I really still sort of like to just set the stage a little bit over here. You can see how we are carpetless and ventless flooring, so that is easy cleaning. And when I'm not running the camera into the wall beside me, the camera doesn't tend to lurch around. You can see things much more easily. Now, this is not a majorly entertainment-focused floor plan, but if you notice from the sofa position right here, if you choose to add a TV on the entertainment wall, not too bad. But did you also notice how they maximized the overhead cabinetry pretty much anywhere they could? Well, technically, except for above the bed. You'll see that in a minute. But a lot of manufacturers, they will stop their kitchen cabinetry like there or there. And Della Terra continued it all the way up to the bedroom privacy wall, basically giving us 2 or 3 additional cabinet spaces that a lot of other builders in this class and category do not have. I really like the fact, too, they stayed focused on cross breeze windows, because like any of the windows that you see, they're going to open for airflow. And you will also see they were very good still about including things like plenty of power outlets, whether it be household or USB. They did a very good job of letting everything light up. And speaking of light up, they have a very light
and bright color palette. I get that was a bit of a stretch of a transition. That's why I don't typically do transitional material. So now that we've kind of seen this thing for a few minutes, you know, what are your kind of early impressions? You know, you've got a lighter, brighter color palette. We're carpetless. We are also 6'9" tall. It's bigger in the ceiling area by about 3 inches. Versus, I would say 50 to 60% of manufacturers who make a layout like this, like J-Flight and Catalina, are both very good about giving us that taller ceiling. But in this category, most other major stick and tin brands drop down to 6.5 foot tall. Some of them never actually climb up to this height. So even some of the more swanky upscale stick and tins don't have the ceiling height of this camper. I like that when I get into the shower. It means taller cabinets. It means more headroom. It also means more room between each of the bunks, which is cool. We'll actually come back and look at the kitchen all opened up. But real quick, I wanted to ask what you thought about this. They went with just a 2-burner stovetop and no oven. There's no oven. There's no optional oven. There's physically not enough room for an oven. This is not a cookies and biscuits cooking kind of camper. You're going to have to go with some kind of campfire cooker situation for some of those. And I know those exist, and some people like them and some people don't. But they went with the 2-burner stovetop and the big farm sink with some really good storage below. They did shrink the kitchen countertop over a little bit because it creates more legroom here in front of the sofa. So overall, for the way I camp, the way that I use RVs, I like that. This kitchen, I think, is, for my purposes, one of the best done in this class category and price point. But that's how I camp. That doesn't mean that's how everybody camps. So I'd really, really like some input on the kitchen here. In case you're curious, that is one of those larger 12-volt compressor fridges, too. Over here, over in the bunk area, these aren't like, they still call them double bunks. This is more like a bunk and a half. It's not a really big bunk. Now, it doesn't have a window, but it does have a skylight on top. I'm curious to think, like, or, you know, wonder, do you think that qualifies? Also, they did a good job, again, of including a light for each bunk and USB plugs for each bunk. Down below here, you've got a just a general little cargo corner. Under that bunk, there's not a camp kitchen. There's not storage. That's where they've stuffed a bunch of their systems kind of things, basically. And look at the privacy curtain. They went with, let me flip that around. And this is the same thing they do up in the bedroom. A really heavy blackout. I really like that. I think that the light blocking and the privacy that can give you is fantastic. But you got to remember, this is where I try to be fair. If you pull that heavy duty curtain, you are going to really limit the airflow potentially up into the bunks. So, you know, you could, well, especially after chili bean night, you could end up hotboxing yourself up there. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, they do go with a split bath here, where you have the sink outside of the rest of the water features of the bathroom. And that it can be kind of handy for letting, like, 2 people get around at the same time. So, like, you know, one kid can be using the potty or, you know, taking a bath or shower. Well, not bath, because this is just a shower model. And somebody else can, like, wash their hands, brush their teeth. You saw there's really good leg room around this and hip and shoulder room. If you are a larger person, you know, it might be slightly problematic. But by going with these slightly smaller, not quite double-sized bunks, they created the extra room to put the toilet beside the shower in this orientation, whereas most manufacturers put the shower on the back wall. Now, it is just a shower pan. Even though it's a family bunk model, they did stick with just a shower. And based on your feedback, originally these were not going to have shower wall surround paneling, and your feedback is one of the things that helped accomplish that and make that happen. I also noticed how they're still fully framing in the like the bathroom door, so there's no little peekaboo, I smell you kind of situation going on. You've got, this does not have a window in the door. We're going to expand on that a little bit when we get outside the RV, but you've got windows beside the bed. You've also got a big window here to watch what's going on. And if you're really looking for cross breeze airflow, chances are you'll have that door open and just utilizing the screen door from the outside as well. So kind of, you know, there are opportunities there where just because the door doesn't have a window doesn't mean the door can't be a light source, but it does mean that you'll have to have the door hanging wide open. Now, up top here, this, I should have talked about this when we got to the kitchen. The kitchen does not actually have a power vent fan hood. once again, I think the kitchen in this is not really intended to be like, if you're a serious campsite cook, this probably won't be the right camper for you. If you're like, we don't really cook in the camper, then they maximize storage, minimize kitchen prep space to maximize living space. So it's all a trade-off. That's why I still showcase all these things with such similar floor plans. These are all sealed edge pressed membrane countertops. You know, I should probably show you that lacking vent hood, because you come over here and you see this little black lip hanging out. But if you look under it, it's basically just something to, you know, I don't know, collect and redirect steam or something like that. And you may have also noticed how that vent up top in the ceiling did not have a vent fan. Bummer, but it could be added, so kind of keep that in mind. This I thought was kind of interesting down here. I like the idea, actually, of manufacturers who leave open face storage under that sofa right there. I'm a person who actually, I like to tuck my legs under me when I sit down, so I could kind of do that here. The other thing I thought about is that could be a nice little small dog cave or cat litter box space where it's kind of contained, and I don't know, some people like that idea, some people don't. They do go with not a full private bedroom in this. They do kind of go with the big open feel. Some people like that, some people don't. They build it two ways, and different manufacturers each build it a different way. And up here in the bedroom, once again, it doesn't have a cabinet above the bed. That's one of the only areas they did not maximize overhead storage, but they did a great job of giving us United States Bees plugs on both sides of the bed, along with household plugs, and something I've never personally seen in a starter class, budget beater class kind of camper, a 72 by 80 king bed, standard. That's a very uncommon, exceptional quality right there. Now, it occurs to me, I've walked through this whole thing, we haven't looked at any storage yet, so let's sweep back through and check out all of that. It does not have struts below the bed's footlocker. It does, however, you know, if you grab the jack crank or a stick or something like that, you can prop it up if you need to. I don't love that solution. I don't think that that should be considered a viable solution, but it, you know, the fact is, for $0, it can get the job done. Once again, they really put all the kitchen prep space, or storage space, and obviously not prep space. And I like the fact they included a couple drawers for us. It is shocking how many builders build a camper this size with 0 kitchen drawers. So it's got its ups, it's got its downs, like we've kind of talked about. The dinette has storage below it. You see that that can fold into a sleeper. There are some really good things, some really good features and aspects going on with this RV. And once again, you saw how there is that, you know, blackout, basically, privacy curtain for the front bedroom. So, you know, if you happen to be hugging in the evening, you're not necessarily putting on a shadow puppet theater kind of free show. Which I suppose is very handy if you are actually folding laundry aggressively with the intention of, you know, filling the bunks back there. Also, with this one having no slides, one of the coolest things about this one is whether you're at a travel stop or if you pull into a campsite late at night and you don't want to make a lot of racket setting up your camper, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there kind of thing, you can just pull in, and I've done this before, pull in, leave the trailer hooked up to the truck, get in the camper, sleep for the night, and then in the morning, after breakfast, finish setting up camp. That's one of the really handy benefits of a no-slide camper, not to mention fewer slides means fewer seal points, kind of like in that bathroom. Did you notice how the vent in the ceiling was the shower skylight? So first of all, the shower's taller. Two, that vent right there is kind of pulling double purpose, but that means fewer seal points, fewer holes in the roof, quite literally. Now, as you can see, we're really nosed up in the display in this one, so unfortunately I can't get you a really awesome look straight on this one, but I can kind of cheat it because right behind it, we happen to have another Della Terra, and, you know, they basically share the same front end. Now, technically, this is a full Della Terra that we're looking at right now on screen, not an LE series, but outside, the only real difference that you're going to notice visually is just that it might say like Della Terra LE or limited edition or something like that. There's no major changes out there. But that's the thing. So once again, this is a full Della. This is, you know, that's the full flavor, whereas like this is the light ranch variety over here that we're looking at. And there's not any major overt
obvious visual differences out here. And again, they're doing a couple things that kind of surprised me to see. Watch this baggage compartment as we draw closer right here. One of the cool things that you'll see about this is how it has lighting in the pass-through, and motion activated at that. Very few of the smarter class, or you could just call it entry level, call a spade, a duck a duck. Very few entry level campers have lighting in the pass through. It's a budget savings thing that they will do. This one does have tinted windows, but when it is backlit from the inside, you can see through it. Now, the LE series doesn't include a window in the door, whereas full Della Terra does, but that was based on your feedback. Again, though, this is unapologetically the price sensitive segment. Sorry, my voice is starting to give out. I do like the fact that they did include a decent size awning on this. Technically, yeah, maybe it could have extended a little bit further, but all things considered, all things being equal, that's not a terribly sized awning. This is a very functional camper. One of the other differences here on the LE versus the Della Terra is the LE series is using an import tire, whereas the full Della Terra will use Goodyears. Another difference that you can't really overtly see where I'm at right now, I'll get you a look at it in a second, is this does not have any specific underbelly enclosure or treatment. This is not made with some intention of being some epic off-road Four Seasons camper. This is just a spring, summer, fall family camper. Somebody here like, listen, I'm going to spend an average of like 21 days a year in this. When my kids are out of school, I don't want to go broke buying this thing. I just need something that's gonna sleep my family, give us a place to eat, and something where I can stand up in the shower and my feet won't hang off the bed for the bed goblins to chew on them. That's what this camper is. I really also applaud them for the fact that they did still include a mount for a telescopic ladder to get up to that fully walkable roof up top. Once again, when you're in this class, in this budget, that is a feature that is very often left off of there. Now, I need to hear from you. I've talked enough. You actually, you can hear my voice starting to, I've recorded a lot of videos lately, and the weather in Michigan this time of year is not great. I'm going to wrap this up. Pricing and availability via the link in the video description. Let me know what you think about it. I will leave you a couple links to some other kind of similar floor plans in case you'd like to do some A/B comparisons out there too. And until next time, thank you so much once again for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and let me know what you think about, again, all the new stuff that keeps coming out in the channel, everyone.